After decades of silence, Robert Redford finally opens up about the friendship that shaped Hollywood, and it's more extraordinary than anyone imagined. At 89, Robert Redford finally speaks about Paul Newman. Their partnership on screen was legendary, but their bond off screen, that's a story few have ever heard. Today, we dive into Redford's life, his rise to fame, and the friendship that shaped Hollywood forever. Want to support our channel? Join the Echo Insider. Just hover over the Echo Insider icon, click and watch new videos before anyone else. Robert Redford wasn't born into Hollywood fame. Far from it. He came into the world in 1936 in sunny Santa Monica, California, in a modest home where creativity and practicality collided in fascinating ways. His mother, Martha Hart, was a freelance illustrator, painting and designing, encouraging young Robert to see the world through an imaginative lens. She taught him that beauty wasn't just in what you see, but in how you notice it. His father, Charles Redford Sr., was a chemist and lab technician, calm, logical, and grounded. Imagine growing up with one parent who dreams in colors and shapes, and another who measures the world with facts and precision. That balance shaped Redford's mind, giving him the rare mix of vision and discipline that would define his career. But there's more. Growing up in Southern California, he couldn't escape the pull of Hollywood. Even as a kid, he watched the glitz, the glamour, the larger-than-life energy of the movie world just beyond his doorstep. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a magnet, a whisper from the universe saying, "You could belong here too." And Redford, with his innate curiosity and charm, began noticing the people, the lights, the stories behind the silver screen. This was the stage being set for a future icon, but at the time he was just a boy learning the subtle art of seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. In high school, Redford discovered drama, not just as a hobby, but as a way to express the restless energy that always seemed to be buzzing inside him. He wasn't the kind of kid who just followed the rules. He wanted to explore, to test boundaries, to see how people ticked, how stories could move hearts. He performed in plays, experimented with different forms of creative expression, and slowly began to understand that he had a gift. After graduation, he enrolled at the University of Colorado, but here's the twist. He started studying architecture. Think about that. A young man fascinated with the human experience, trying to confine it to buildings and blueprints. He was logical, disciplined, curious, but the heart, it seems, had other plans. Acting kept pulling him, whispering, "This is where you belong." So he made a bold move. He left architecture behind and moved to New York City to train at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. This wasn't a small decision, it was a leap into uncertainty. There, Redford found mentors who immediately recognized his rare talent, guiding him to sharpen it, but never to dim it. Every lesson, every rehearsal, every moment in that intense environment molded him into someone ready not just to perform, but to captivate, to inspire, and eventually to change the very way Hollywood viewed leading men. It's in these formative years, balancing imagination and discipline, risk and precision, curiosity and courage, that the foundation of Robert Redford, the legend, was built. And just like that, the stage was set for the incredible journey that would follow, including the legendary friendship that would one day be revealed decades later. In 1969, Robert Redford stepped onto a set that would change Hollywood forever, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Opposite him was Paul Newman, already a star, already larger than life. But what happened between them wasn't just acting magic. It was a collision of charisma, talent, and sheer energy that lit up the screen. Imagine the tension of those early days. Two young actors, each brilliant in their own way, navigating scripts, improvisation, and cameras that seemed to capture every flicker of emotion. But Redford wasn't just a co-star, he was transforming before the world's eyes. His rugged charm, smoldering intensity, and subtle sophistication created a new kind of American hero, one who was rebellious yet deeply human, confident yet vulnerable. Audiences didn't just watch him, they felt him. And here's the secret that made this role unforgettable. Redford and Newman shared something intangible, something that transcended dialogue or camera angles. They laughed, argued, collaborated, and pushed each other to heights no single actor could reach alone. The chemistry was electric, palpable, a spark you could almost see on screen, and that's when Hollywood noticed this wasn't just another leading man. This was the dawn of a legend. By the time the movie hit theaters, Redford had cemented his place in cinematic history. But he didn't stop there. He was just beginning to show the world how deep, versatile, and transformative his talent could be. After Butch Cassidy, Robert Redford could have rested on his laurels, but he didn't. Instead, he dove headfirst into roles that tested every part of his talent, proving he wasn't just a charming face, he was an actor of remarkable depth. Take The Sting in 1973. Here, Redford's performance wasn't just about con artistry, it was about subtle timing, quiet confidence, and a spark of mischief that kept audiences on edge. Then came All the President's Men, a political thriller that demanded precision, intensity, and intellectual gravitas. Redford delivered, pulling viewers into the shadowy corridors of power, as though they were walking right beside him. And in Out of Africa, he showed another side entirely: romance, vulnerability, and poetic elegance. The man who once played a gunslinger could now capture the sweeping, emotional grandeur of epic storytelling. Each role was a new layer, revealing a multifaceted talent who could shift effortlessly between genres, action, drama, romance, thrillers, without ever losing authenticity. But the real magic wasn't just in the films themselves, it was in the way Redford made audiences care. You believed every word, every glance, every pause. He had this uncanny ability to make you feel that every story mattered, that every emotion was real, and that, perhaps more than anything, is what kept the world captivated and critics constantly praising him. Robert Redford wasn't just content to shine in front of the camera, he wanted to change the game entirely. In 1980, he founded the Sundance Institute, and with it, he created a safe harbor for the voices that Hollywood often ignored. Independent filmmakers, unheard storytellers, dreamers with radical ideas, they all found a home at Sundance. It wasn't just about making movies, it was about rewriting the rules of cinema. Redford understood something crucial. True art thrives when it's free. He gave countless directors, actors, and writers the chance to explore bold ideas without fear of commercial failure. Films that might never have seen the light of day found audiences, reshaping American cinema forever. And Redford didn't stop there. He took the lessons he learned in front of the camera and applied them behind it, directing emotionally rich, socially resonant films like Ordinary People, A River Runs Through It, and Quiz Show. Each project carried his signature, a blend of heart, intelligence, and moral courage. What makes Redford's vision truly compelling is this: he used his influence not to dominate, but to elevate. He didn't chase trends, he cultivated voices. He didn't seek applause, he sought meaning. And in doing so, he became more than an actor. He became a mentor, a pioneer, and a force capable of changing the cultural landscape of Hollywood forever. Behind the lights, cameras, and fame, Robert Redford's personal life was a story of love, loss, and quiet resilience. In 1958, he married Lola Van Wagenen in a private ceremony in Las Vegas, a decision that reflected both practicality and a desire for intimacy. Together they had 4 children, each carrying a piece of Redford's creative spirit. But life was never simple. Their firstborn, Scott, tragically passed away at just 2.5 months old, a heartbreak that left a permanent mark on the family. Their other children, Shauna, David, and Amy, grew up surrounded by art, storytelling, and the complex realities of fame. Shauna became a painter, David a filmmaker and writer, and Amy embraced acting, directing, and producing. each followed in his footsteps, carrying forward the Redford legacy, while also navigating the private struggles of growing up in a household where public attention was constant. Redford's marriage to Lola gradually drifted apart, though they never publicly formalized a divorce. He maintained a fiercely private stance, letting their personal evolution remain mostly hidden from public scrutiny. Later, in 2009, he married Sabine Zegers, a longtime partner and accomplished artist, marking a new chapter built on mutual respect, shared passions, and decades of life experience. This private life, full of joys and sorrows, mirrored the depth he brought to his films. It revealed a man capable of enduring grief, seeking connection, and finding love again later in life. It's in this duality, public legend, private complexity, that Redford's humanity truly shines, reminding us that even icons are deeply, profoundly human. Robert Redford's reflections remind us that friendship, artistry, and integrity can outlast the spotlight. Newman's influence shaped him, their films, and the very culture of Hollywood. In revealing this story at 89, Redford gives us a rare glimpse into a legendary bond that transcends time. Because sometimes the greatest stories aren't the ones on screen, they're the ones behind the scenes. If you enjoyed this story, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It really makes us smile. And if you're hungry for more fascinating tales, check out the 2 videos right below. You might just discover your next favorite story.